good afternoon. It is actually Monday afternoon. We're going to tell them it's Monday afternoon, right after the Celina Lake Festival. And I have been joined with the new Celina City Schools Superintendent, Mrs. Brooke Gessler. Brooke, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. It's a big weekend.
It was a great weekend. And right before we got started here, we were talking about Lake Festival. And I said, you've got to come. You were here.
I was. Yes, my husband and I came with some friends who were down from Michigan. We came Friday, and I kept hearing about you have to go see the splash in with these amphicars, and I had never heard of such an event, and so we made sure that we saw it. You
know, now that we're talking, and we were just talking about them, there may still be one in town. So when we're done with this interview, I'm going to send either a text message or make a phone call, because there still may be one in town.
Okay.
So really, it's about time. You're going to be full-time here in the district very shortly.
Yes.
So when's the official start date?
So the official start date is August 1st, toward the end of the week.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations to that.
Thank you.
Some of us don't really know a whole lot about you other than you're the new superintendent. So Brooke, give me some background, give me some history. Tell me about you, family, education. How did you get here today? I'll just sit here and listen for a while.
Okay. Well, there is no mystery behind this, first of all. So we can debunk that right away if that exists. So I live with my family in Sydney, Ohio. That's where I was born and raised. I went to school there. I went away to college. My husband and I decided, who's also from Sydney, his name's Chad. And Chad and I decided that, to come back and raise a family, it made sense because we had a great support system. And it also happened to be where I got my first teaching job, is the high school, Sydney High School, from where I graduated.
That's impressive. That's fun. That's fun.
It is. It's very different, though, from a student to an actual, I was adulting. And no, it was a blessing, that's for sure, because I don't know how many people can say they have that opportunity, and that's how I viewed it. So Chad and I came back. High school English. I taught all different courses from 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. And when I ended up in the classroom, 11 years in the classroom, and I started to kind of get this little itch. I was involved in our local union as a vice president, and so I think that helped me hone some of my leadership skills. And so I had some colleagues and trusted peers say, Brooke, you should go into administration. And I said, you know what, I think I will. So took coursework, got the license. From there I became assistant principal, Sydney High School. And then I did that for a year, got a call from my superintendent at the time, and he afforded me the opportunity to interview for a curriculum position, and I did, and the rest is history. And then I transitioned from curriculum, which was kind of like you picked up a lot of other duties as assigned, which was great. And that's how I learned a lot of what makes a district go and tick in other areas and other ways. And so assistant superintendent, and I wasn't done. I knew I wasn't done.
We're going to continue that, though, but I want to ask, why English? Why English?
I love to write. I felt like that's how I could articulate get from what was up here and get it out. And writing was my vehicle for that. I love the literature. I was passionate about it. My kids would look at me, my high school kids would look at me like I had 5 heads sometimes, because I would get excited, with Emerson and Thoreau and Poe, and they're like, Miss Gessler, what is wrong with you right now? I'm like, no, this is great, you guys, this is it, this is fun, we got to peel back the layers, And so I loved my time with students. I loved it, even as assistant principal. Those less desirable jobs sometimes. The attendance piece and that, and there were consequences at the time, and so the best part was, though, when I helped with graduation the one year, and one of my frequent flyers for attendance, she gave me a hug, and she said thank you. And it's moments like that I'm like, okay, I know I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm fulfilling my purpose.
So did you always know you wanted to become a teacher, or was there an influence somewhere back that made that happen?
Yeah, so my mom was a teacher. She taught in Versailles for over 40 years. high school English.
Gotcha. There it is right there. Okay.
Yeah, and my dad was a loan officer, so both my parents were in the service industry, I like to say, in different ways. And I think that, I would play school in our basement. We lived in a farmhouse, so it was always in our family, 7 acres, which is compared to some farms, that's like, small potatoes. But it was country living at its finest, the sweet tea and the jugs, and you put out in the sun with the tea bags. I mean, I had an amazing childhood. We had apple trees and raspberry bushes and blackberry tree.
Wow.
And, yeah, so it was phenomenal, right? And so I think that influence from my mom, and then just wanting to serve people. And ironically enough, though, I thought, I want to go into human resources. I want to help people. I want to, and so I went to college because I started at Ohio State, and I took some business classes, and a lot of it they were group projects. And I thought, okay, I'm with these people who I don't know, and my grade is dependent on these folks who I have. No, the collaborative piece of it at that time in my life, I was too worried about.
It's a challenge.
I was worried about trying to get good grades, and anyway, so I was like, okay, this is not for me. And I knew I liked English. I knew I loved to write, and I had amazing professors, and so that's the direction I went. So I actually got my Bachelor's of Arts in English, and then went to Wright State for the teaching license.
Thank
and
you
that
for answering. I was going to ask where the alumni is at.
Yeah, and so that's where I went next for the teaching program and the licensure, and I was able to teach student teaching. It was also another blessing, is that I was able to have 6 months in an urban middle school. So I was in Dayton Public, Fairview Middle School. Never forget it. It was amazing. I had never been a minority in my life, and it shaped me in such a positive way. It was great. It's heart-wrenching, because I can see how some educators can get burnout when you carry the emotional weight of your kids. And I could start to see that, because you build relationships, you form relationships. And so then I had 6 months in a high school. So I went to Bellbrook, so it was urban and suburban, middle school, high school. So I ended up there, had a great experience as well. And so, yeah, from there, then I finished up my master's, and again, started my career at Sydney High School, and yeah.
Here you are, today.
Here I am.
Well, you mentioned Chad, so I want to let's talk about the family a little bit.
Yeah, so family. So my husband is also in the service industry. He has a background as a juvenile probation officer.
Okay.
With Shelby County. And then he went through some different nonprofit pathways, and he is now executive director at Clear Creek Farm, which is I liken it to it is for kids who get removed from their homes. I don't want to call it an orphanage, because it's not. They're not abandoned. Okay. But it provides a stable environment. It's a group home. Provides a stable environment for at-risk youths, and it's amazing. So he is there. We have 2 boys. We have Nolan, who is 21. He wrestles at Tiffin. Okay. And we have Gabriel, who is 13.
Yep. I got one that age. I got you.
Yep. And he's our baseball guy, and so he attends. He's going to be in 7th grade at Sydney Middle School this coming year. Now
I got to know. You said Nolan going to Tiffin.
Yes.
What's he focusing on right now in school?
So I believe the last time I had a real good check-in on this, it was global sports management. He wants to coach wrestling. He loves it. He is very good at connecting with you. He went to Graham High School to wrestle, so he graduated from Graham, and he ran camps and helped run camps there, and was great with kids and younger people. And so he loves the athletic side of business. So maybe an AD, I don't know. He mentioned that too, so.
Well, I was afraid you were
see.
going to say English. I just wondered if he
No.
was following that same path or
No,
not.
you know what? It hurts my heart because both my boys are like, Mom, I don't like to read. I'm like, oh.
Okay, well then I'm going to ask you a far-fetched question. Sports when you were in school, what did you play?
Yeah, I played volleyball.
Okay.
And I did basketball. I did track.
Did them all.
I did them all. Yeah,
Any
my
in
dad
college?
didn't have boys,
Oh,
so it was just
okay.
my sister and me.
Anything in college?
No, no. I wanted, in my brain, I said, I'm going to Ohio State. And my mom said, Brooke, like, let's just go look at some other schools. I'm like, no, I'm going to Ohio State, Mom. She's like, well, don't you maybe you might be able to play, maybe D3 school. I'm like, no, Mom, so that's where I went. So I probably may have had some opportunities that I did not take advantage
Gotcha.
of.
Well, thank you for sharing about family.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing some background. Did we miss anything in those areas? I don't think that we did, because I want to talk about
I don't think so.
kind of where we are now moving forward.
Sure.
So you're coming in at, I don't want to say you're coming in at a monumental time.
It is.
Within our district.
Yeah,
so I don't
it
know
is.
that I mentioned it enough. You and I are sitting on stools that still have the plastic
Right?
attached
And
to
it's like
them.
that new car smell right now.
Actually, the
It's
new
a
car
new-
smell. And I know your camera that you're looking off to, there is all kinds of construction equipment that is
Yes.
moving around. And when I said we were going to meet over here, I talked with Phil
Yes.
Metz, and he said
Yeah.
the library. And I'm like, well, this is called the media center. Is this the library? I don't know. I had not been in the building yet before. It is that new. But where we are sitting right now, it's nice and cool.
It
We
is.
have the right color green. I actually thought that they were paw prints.
They
On
do.
the carpet.
They do kind of resemble that now that you say that. I never noticed
everything.
that.
I had to move a ladder out of the background. There was a light over there, some other things. It's as new as it is.
It
So
is.
I say it is a monumental time within our district. You've got many pieces that you're going to have to figure out
Yeah.
and put together. So I want to talk about, you and I were talking about Celina community. We were talking about Seatown Wings on Wheels. That's where we went. And you were talking about getting chocolate chip cookies from a young individual over the
Yes.
weekend.
Look, if I can find out who she is, and I don't say this lightly because I like to eat and I like my Sweetums. These chocolate chip cookies, and there was a little like a lemonade stand also, right?
So this was Lake Festival weekend,
Lakeshore
Lakeshore
weekend.
Drive,
It was.
that road that turns back where the
Yes.
splash pad is.
Yes.
They had this little stand set up.
Yes, and so we were walking up, and they saw us. The kiddos saw us walking that way, and they said, "Oh, do you want to buy some?" And so my husband's like, "We'll get it on the way back." And so on the way back, lo and behold, they still had some cookies left and some lemonade. I was okay. I wasn't parched. I wanted the cookies. And so we bought them. I just said, just give me the rest that's in the tin. They're darn good.
So what she's saying is she wants to know who you are. If you
I
know who
do.
that individual was, comment down below. We got to get you some more of those cookies.
Yes.
And she was talking about crumble cookies, and then she goes to
look.
those. These are, okay, all right, fine.
They were like soft batch anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
So where I was going was
Yes.
beliefs on, I was going to say school and community. I think
Yes.
we know where you're at with community. You want more cookies. But let's talk about your beliefs within
Sure.
really the school district and the school community, because, I'll let you share.
Well, I know I still have a lot to learn because I've been here quite a bit while Brenda Boki.
Quite frequently, actually, wouldn't it be?
Yes. So the board was generous enough to afford me up to 20 plus days in the district, and so I could help transition, which was a gift, and I gladly accepted, because first of all, the interim here, Brenda, and I don't know how much people really know her or got to know her, but from my new role and where I came from, tremendous mentor. So that was a blessing to have her and to be able to ask questions, and anyway, she's an amazing person, not just educator, but just an amazing human. So spent some time with her, and I'm learning. I'm meeting more people, and
we have a few people within
which is
the district.
Yeah, just a few, and it's awesome and it's exciting because it's kind of nice because I get to meet people not in such a big setting all at once, right? Like as an opening day, or when we have an open house for the school or schools, and so that's been nice. Just to be able to have more time for some one-on-ones with people. And the administrative team is an amazing team. And so I guess when we talk about community, I look at it in different facets, right?
Okay.
I look at it as community within our school, because we're like our own, we're like a little ecosystem, but in the context of a bigger ecosystem. Right, we're a microcosm.
Sure.
And so and I've said this many a time, is that the welcoming and just people are, come up and shake your hand, because for me, it's not about, I understand my title. I get that. I'm not naive to it, that I know that certain titles hold certain positional authority. But it's about the relationships, and it's about being able to be approachable. And that's what I want.
Okay.
Right? And so to be able to have people just come up and not, oh, she's got this role, or she's this person. I'm Brooke. With students, I'm Mrs. Gessler, right? I'm Brooke. And so that's what has been wonderful about some time this summer, and knowing that there's so many more people to meet. I've had Julie Fleck with Rotary reach out, and that feels good because sometimes I just don't know where to start. And so to have folks who are reaching out in that way too, and willing to, let's meet, or let's come be a part, come speak. That's awesome. So when we think about community, again, it's a bigger community, but our schools are reflective of that community in a way, right? Beliefs and values and what they bring to the table, and the diversity. And I very much honor community, and I honor the existing culture that exists, like the AMPA cars. that is, there are certain things that make communities unique, and I respect that, and that's what I cannot wait to learn more about, is more of the pieces that make this community unique. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about communication, and you said you're an open book at times. So can we talk about that a little bit,
Sure.
that piece?
Sure. One thing that I've learned is, number one, you can never communicate enough, and you should say what you mean and mean what you say. I know there are different audiences, and I understand that. And I also think that people need to see the real you, the authentic you, because, let's face it, most of us can see past these facades, right? And these smoke and mirrors. It usually doesn't take too long. And so that's what I think also is important to me, is that people understand, who I am and what I believe as a person, as an educator, as a leader.
Well, I'm going to share, because you and I had met, 6 weeks ago maybe now, for the first time. I can't recall. And we had planned for just to do a quick 2-minute, here's who this new superintendent is. And you and I got to talking, and it just turned into this monologue, and that's where it was decided, let's just do this. Let's let you just share, because I don't know that you could get it in a short 90-second little quick video. So
I remember what I had prepared, right? And I was thinking, okay, here's this drafted written piece of this script of what I wanted to convey. And yes, I understand there's a time and place for that as well. Though, again, people don't necessarily know me. And even though, we may have made introductions, or I may have made introductions with people, they still don't know me. And so I think that the more conversations, and to me this feels more conversational, And I think you can start to see a person and read a person, and
I'd not be scared to share. The notes are almost nothing on here. They're just a few bullet points that I want to make sure that you'll share.
Sure.
Because I can tell you just want to share what that information is. So that bullet point I have in there is kids and families. We talked about that a little bit beforehand. Kids and families and the dynamics, that's all tied into that.
Yeah, so, and again, it's that layer of community. And I think sometimes we as educators, when we come in, well, yes, we have the kiddos right in front of us, right? We're front facing. These are our customers right here. But I also think it's just as important to remember that those kids have a support system at home, and that's their family. And our families have different dynamics, and our families have different beliefs. And so when we have thousands of kiddos coming through our doors, we have over 1,000 families who we also serve. And I think it's important that we not forget that, because I'm passionate about family engagement. I want families to feel welcome when they walk in our doors, when they walk into our offices. I want them to feel there's respect and there's dignity. And I think that that's the one piece that has impacted me the most in my role when I was in Sydney at district office, is that I had families come in, and usually not under positive circumstances, and it's just listening. And I don't think that you can ever underestimate, nor should we, the power of listening first and listening to understand. And so again, this is, I very much want an open door, right, for me, recognizing there's a hierarchy, right, that needs to be followed. But I also am open to listening and feedback. It's not positive or negative feedback. We assign labels to it. It's feedback that we should receive. So that's some of what I believe.
Well, we're really not that far off from the first day of school. We aren't. August 21st for 7 through 12. And day after Labor Day for the rest.
It's coming fast.
And it's exciting.
It is.
And you and I talked, you were asking about going to the Mercer County Fair next week.
Yes.
Which is next week already.
Yes. Like I said, or maybe I didn't say, but I am kind of a foodie. And so.
We have lots of good food. Lots of good food.
And so I really
Best cinnamon rolls you'll ever have.
Really?
Mercer County Fair.
Okay.
They won the Blue Ribbon Bites award last year.
Oh my gosh.
You'll just have to try them. You'll also have to try things that have been staples at the Mercer County Fair for a very, very, very long time.
Okay.
The Unity Grange, just wait.
Okay.
There's nothing better than going to the fair. I remember my son, who's 15 now, I want to say he was 5 years old. We were there early on a Saturday morning. I'll never forget this. And we went to the Unity Grange. We grabbed he wanted a bacon sandwich, just a bacon sandwich. And I can hear off in the distance some snorting from some pigs. And then this smell comes rolling through. He goes, "Dad, that stinks. What is that?" I go, "Same thing you're eating, that same thing we're eating." So come on, it's the fair. You got to look forward to it. Never forget that.
It's the circle of life right there.
And have you seen our big giant that sits over at the
Okay, yes.
Okay, you have. We took pictures with amphicars yesterday with Nelson.
Yes, I have to learn more about that.
We'll teach you all kinds of things.
Okay, I can't wait.
One more thing before we finish
Sure.
up. What are you most excited for?
Oh gosh.
I know there could be a lot, but try to narrow it and hone it in. What are you most excited for?
All of the opportunities that await. Opportunities for the community at large. When they see, these new buildings. And I also know that there's emotion attached to what used to be, because those are memories, right? And the physical, oftentimes it's when you see it, when you hear certain things, certain smells when you walk in buildings, right? Yeah. Those evoke memories. And so I understand that. Though I think that when community sees this building and then, just a couple years down the road, the other new building, They're new memories. You never get rid of the old. You always honor your past, right? Because it makes you who you are.
Correct.
And your community. It's part of that foundation, right? And so I'm excited for that experience. That's an opportunity. I am excited for our students. I am excited for our teachers. I overuse that word excited all the time. I need to find it. I need it for an English person. Goodness gracious.
Yeah,
you planted it. You did that on purpose. There is a strong base and foundation here upon which we grow and we continue to build. And so with the staff and the admin teams and it's creating that team and strengthening that culture. Those are opportunities that I cannot wait for.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm most excited for.
What's that?
School to start. I really can't wait. I can't wait to meet all the new staff that will be
and
here.
routine.
The structure is always a good thing.
Yes.
Kids get back on the school bus now.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It's exciting.
It is.
Well, thank you. She is your new Celina City Schools Superintendent, Mrs. Brooke Gessler.
Thank you.
Brooke, let's just move forward from here.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.